gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning. It is math time. Are you ready to do some math? I bet you are. I've got something new for us this week. We've been talking about shapes, but now we're ready to switch gears because now we need to start talking about time. How many of you know how to tell time? I'm talking about when you look at that big clock like the one we have in the classroom and you look at it. Do you know what time it is? I know some of you already do. So for you, this might be kind of easy. But some of us don't know that yet. So this is what we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you how to tell time on a regular clock, like the one you might see in your kitchen at home or the one you might have on your mom's watch that goes around and around, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn some special words that go along with clocks and time. So let me show you this here. All right, let me move myself out of the way. There we go. See, I can stay big. All right, when we look at a clock, some of the things you need to know, because you'll hear people talking about it, is when somebody talks about the face of a clock, this is the part they're talking about. It's the big round part that has all the numbers on it. Now you notice up at the clock, on a clock, every one of them will be the same. At the very top of the clock, you're going to see the number 12. That's always going to be at the top. And down at the bottom, you're always going to see the number 6. Okay? On the left side over here, you're going to see the number 9. And on this side over here, you'll always see the number 3. Every clock will have these numbers in the exact same spot. And as you can see, all the other numbers from 1 to 12 go round and round and round in order. Okay? This is called the face of the clock. It kind of looks like your face. And it's what people look at when they look at you. They see your face. When you look at a clock, you see its face. So if you hear somebody talking about the face of a clock, this is what they're talking about, the face. Now, the other part of the clock that you need to know are the hands. I know, we have 2 hands. Well, guess what? A clock has 2 hands also. They don't look a lot like our hands, though, do they? But that's okay, because they do the same thing. We can use our hands to point to things, can't we? Do you point at stuff with your hands? Well, that's what these hands do. These hands point at different times on the clock. Now, there's 2 different sizes. There's a little hand that's shorter than the other one. It's called the, oh, wait a minute. Somehow those got switched. Oh my goodness. Let me fix that. I just noticed that. Sorry about that. I put those in the wrong place. Oh, okay. Glad I caught that. Wow. The short hand, the littlest one, is called the hour hand. It points to one of these numbers, and that is going to be the hour it is, whether it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 8 o'clock. That's the number that this hand is pointing to. The first number you say, the short one, okay? The longer hand, the bigger one, is called the minute hand. And I'm going to show you in just a minute why they're called that way, okay? So we have an hour hand, which is short, and we have a minute hand, which is long, okay? You've probably seen them on clocks that look like this. Notice the hour hand is the short one, and the long hand, that's the minute hand. So we have minute hand, hour hand. And let me show you why they're called that way. I'm going to switch over to this other clock I found that I think is going to help us be able to see this better. Okay, here we go. Now for this one, I'm going to have to move myself way over here so I'm out of the way. There it goes. Sorry, sometimes my computer moves a little slow. All right, you can see here we have our minute hand and our hour hand. And the reason they're called this is because this little red hand, it takes it a whole hour before it moves from the 1 to the 2. It moves really, really slow. If you look at the clock, you're not going to see it moving very much because it goes really, really slow. It takes 1 whole hour for this hand to go from the 1 to the 2. That's just the way it is, and that's why it's called the hour hand. It takes a whole hour before it goes around the clock, okay? The minute hand, you might get to see that one move if you're really patient, because every minute it moves to one of these next dots. Each one of these dots is 1 minute. So let's see, how many minutes will it take for this to move from here to here? Let's count the dots, we'll find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every 5 minutes, that big hand goes from one number to the next number. And then after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more minutes, it moves to the next hand, or the next number, sorry. So that's why this is called the minute hand, because every minute it moves 1 dot. And every 5 minutes, it moves to a whole nother number. But now as it's moving, I want you to watch that red hand. See, it's moving, but look how much slower it moves. This blue hand moves much, much faster. It can go all the way around, and by the time it goes all the way around and back up to the top, now that hour hand has moved 1 whole number. That's the trick to this clock, is you have to know which hand is moving which way. So the blue hand, the minute hand, moves 1 dot every minute. The hour hand has to go all the way around, and it takes 1 whole hour before it moves to a new number. Okay? That's how we can tell what hour it is, or how many hours have passed. Okay? Now, another kind of clock that you're going to see, you've probably seen it a lot. This is what we call an analog clock. I know, big word. Don't worry if you remember it, but I want you to know it. Analog. Can you say that with me? Analog. Yes, analog. Don't know where the name came from. It was made a long, long time ago. And then we have what we call a digital clock. Digital means it shows you the numbers. You seen a clock that looks like that before? I bet you have. Maybe you've got it on your alarm clock or on your mom's watch at home, or maybe on your own watch. I know some of you have watches that you wear, and it shows the numbers like that, doesn't it? Pretty cool, huh? When I look at this clock, I can tell the hour hand is pointing at the 2. See that here? The first number is the 2. And up here we've got zeros. Now let me tell you why those are zeros. Remember how I told you every time this moves to a number, it's 5 minutes? Look at my digital clock over here. See how it says 5? 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 15 minutes. Remember when we learned how to count by fives? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That's why we learned how to count by fives, because it'll help you when you're telling time. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I want you to watch carefully. 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 55 minutes. And now watch what happens when it gets back up to the 12. 56, 57, 58, 59, 60 minutes. Boom, look at that. It goes back to zeros. Because every time it gets up to the 12, it starts over again. So it goes back to 0. It starts over again at 0. And that's why on a digital clock, we have our hour hand at 3. And when the minute hand is pointed straight up, we say it's 0 or o'clock. I know you've heard that before, huh? Yes. This clock is showing 3 o'clock. It says 3 o'clock here, and it says 3 o'clock there. We don't say 300. We say 3 o'clock. Say that with me. O'clock. O'clock. You got it. Anytime this big blue hand is pointed straight up in the air, you're going to say o'clock. Okay? When the big hand's pointed straight up, we say o'clock. You got it? Piece of cake. So all you have to do then is see where the hour hand is pointing at. Right now, it's pointing at 3 o'clock. What if I went like that? What time is it now? Yes, 5. Look down here. Do you see this here? 5. Whoop, let me put that back up there. It moved on me. It is 5 o'clock. Excellent. Let's try another one. I'm going to spin it around. What time is it now? You got it. I told you this is going to be easy. Look at where the little hand is pointing at. 7. And the big hand's pointed straight up. So we always say o'clock. It is 7 o'clock. And notice what it looks like over here. 7 o'clock. We got it? Our digital clock and our analog clock tell the same time. They always tell the same time. They just write them differently. We say o'clock. This one says 00, but don't say 700. If I ask you what time it is and you look at your watch, don't tell me 700. I want you to say 7 o'clock. Okay? Pretty simple, huh? In fact, this is so simple. When we go over here to our math book, let me show you. Here's our math book. We are on page 590. See it down here at the bottom? 590. So if you don't have your math book, please go get it right now and open it up to page 590. Hit pause on the machine real quick and go get your math book. I'll wait for you. All right, are you ready? You back now? Very cool. You got your book open? Okay, here we go. We are going to look at clocks and practice writing the time. And it is so easy that we're actually doing 2 lessons in one today. I hope you're ready for that, okay? I'm going to grab my pen over here. You've already got yours, right? Okay. You got your pen. I got my pen. Now let's read what it says up here. There are 2 kinds of clocks. This is the analog clock. Remember, that's what I told you, analog clock. The hour hand is shorter than the minute hand. It points to the hour. The minute hand is longer, and it points to the minute. You got it. So when I look at this clock right here, remember what I told you? When it's pointed straight up, what do we say? O'clock. So what time is it? Look at this number right here. What does that say? Yes, it is 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. This is easy, huh? Have a look at this one. What time do you think this one is? You tell me. You got it. Find the number over here. What is it? It is 9 o'clock. Oh my gosh, this is so easy. How about this one? Yes, 2 o'clock. You got this. Piece of cake. How about this one? 11 o'clock. Oh my gosh. We have got this down. What about that last one? What time is that? You got it. 6 o'clock. Pretty simple, huh? If it was 4 o'clock, where would the hands on my clock be? Where would the big hand be? What number? Yes, it'd be pointing at the 12, straight up. And where would my shorter hand be? It's 4 o'clock. Where would this number be? Where would this arrow be pointing at? 4. You got it. Pretty simple, huh? Okay? This is an analog clock. All we're looking at today is telling time to the hour. Next time, we're going to look at half hour. But right now, we're just going to do a piece at a time. 1 hour. All right. So your job is going to be to do this page. Easy. Look at the clock. Tell me what time it is. And this page. Easy. Look at the clock and tell me what time it is. This one, it wants you to draw the hands. You can do that. If it's 3 o'clock, where would my hands be? If it's 6 o'clock, where would my hands be? You got this, right? Okay. And whoop, keep moving. Got our homework. Got our homework. Remember I told you we're doing 2 lessons? That's lesson number 1. Now we're going to move on to lesson number 2. Remember I showed you those digital clocks? Digital clock. Those are the ones that look like this. They just have the numbers written in it. But instead of saying o'clock, we would write what here? Do you remember? Let me get my pen back. There we go. That one. Okay. So another type of clock is the digital clock. It uses numbers instead of hands. Instead of hands, it just writes the numbers. So if it's 2 o'clock, then this one is going to have a 2 o'clock. And we're going to put our 2 zeros in there. Because remember what happens when we get all the way up to the 12? It starts over again. We go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. When it gets back up to the top, we say 0, 0. 2 o'clock? Pretty simple, huh? So now look at their clock here. See this clock? What time is it? 11 o'clock, right. So on here, we're going to write 11 o'clock. Kind of hard to see that. 11 o'clock. Nice. What time does this one say? 6 o'clock. So I'm going to put a 6. 6. I'm trying to do it without making that orange dot. Here we go. 6. And what do I need over here? 2 zeros. 0, 0. Because it's starting over again. When we get up here to the top, it's starting over again. It's always going to be 0, 0. Okay? Excuse me. Ooh, this one's kind of tricky. I see that my big hand's pointed straight up, so I know I need 0 and a 0. But where's my hour hand? Can you see it? Where's the hour hand pointed at? Yeah, it's pointed straight up at the 12 too, isn't it? So what do you think I need to write here? Exactly. 12 o'clock. You got it. It's kind of a bad 2, but you can see it there. 12 o'clock. Here we go. Last one. What does this one say? You got it. 3 o'clock. There it is. 3 o'clock. This is so easy, isn't it? I know it, guys. That's why we save this stuff for the end of the year, because by now your brains are so full of everything else. We want to give you easy stuff at the end. So how is reading an analog clock, that's the one with the hands, the same as reading a digital clock? Think about it. When I read my analog clock, what do I look at first? The hour hand, right? That's what I look at, and that's what I say first. It is 11 o'clock. When I look at my digital clock, what number do I see first? The hour, 11 o'clock. That's how they're the same, okay? So what do you think? Pretty easy? You think you got this? Give me a thumbs up if you got this. You got this. All right, so that means now we've got these pages here. You're going to do the same thing. Look at my analog clock and tell me what time it is. Write it here. Just remember, the hour comes first. 1, whoop, I don't have my pen. Sorry about that. 1 o'clock. Remember, the hour always comes first. Hour always comes first. Always. Got it? Okay. So we've got that page. Come on, turn for me. There we go. This one, same thing. It's 11 o'clock. How do I write that? Okay. And then we have our homework here. That's it. Pretty simple, huh? Okay. Normally, I don't make us do 2 lessons at once. But for this one, we're going to. Okay. So you're going to do the analog clocks first. The ones over here. Let me go back over there where we were. Doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. This computer's moving slow. Okay, this is the one we did together. You're going to do this page, and this page, and this one, all by yourself. But they are so easy, okay? And then keep going. This one, I probably should have had you turn the page, but I figured you got this. Page 596, you're going to keep going. That one we did, and then you're going to keep going and do this one, and this one, and this one, and that one. Lots of pages, but it looks like pretty simple stuff. What do you think? Can you do it? I know you can. I know. Normally I don't ask you to do 2 at once, but I think we got this. Because the next time we get together, we're going to talk about half hour, okay? So don't do that page. Wait for me. We'll do that one next time, okay? Wow. Okay. Boys and girls, we are getting so close to the end of first grade. I hope you're ready. I've had a couple of moms and dads ask me, when you come back to school again in the fall, are you still going to be in first grade? No. Say, Mom, I'm going to be a second grader. Mrs. Click has made sure I'm ready. I am going to second grade. So are you about ready for second grade? We're going to have a party when we get to second grade. I'm going to tell you, I know you guys are ready, especially those of you who've been working with me and keeping up with our learning. I love it. Keep doing it. Keep partying. Keep partying. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Keep those hands washed. And don't forget, I tell you every time, but make sure you give your mom and dad a big hug. They're really having to do a lot right now. They're not used to being teachers. And now all of a sudden they're having to be moms, dads, and teachers. So give them a big hug. Tell them how much I appreciate all their help. Make sure you tell them how much you appreciate all their help. Keep working hard. Get those math pages done. And I will see you next time. Bye.